Good morning to the people of St. Luke's. We find ourselves today on Good Friday. I hope you were able to find a way to pray meaningfully and observe Maundy Thursday from home yesterday. In a couple of short hours at noon, which is the traditional time to observe Good Friday, we will once again gather digitally with folks from all around the Episcopal Church in Colorado, and we will observe Good Friday together. And I thought that I would take a moment to share with you what it is that I think about on Good Friday. Good Friday, of course, is the time that we remember when Jesus died, and a time that we live into what that might have been and the darkness that his friends, his followers, his students might have experienced in that time. For me, the most meaningful part of observing Good Friday is a ritual that many churches observe called Veneration of the Cross. The Veneration of the Cross is a time during the Good Friday service when usually a large cross is brought into the church and either propped up or laid down on its side, and folks are invited to come up and venerate. Sometimes people will kiss it, sometimes people will touch Jesus' feet if Jesus is on the cross, sometimes lay a forehead on it. I really love the Veneration of the Cross, and I like to take my good time in this observance. For me, experiences of Good Friday worship have been some of the most formative in my faith life. Of course, we know Easter, resurrection cannot come without death. And the cycle of death moving into everlasting life is one that we see in our own lives again and again and again. When I observe Good Friday, it's a time for me to recognize deeply that Jesus experienced everything that there is in humanity, including painful death. And on Good Friday, as we remember the time that he died and we bear witness to the stories of his followers, his friends, who were so sad and desperate and just experiencing this enormous grief when he died, as we walk through that with Jesus, we know that we are not alone in the enormity of our grief. For me, Good Friday experiences have been the time where my relationship with Jesus really clicks, because it's not just about somebody who rose again. It's not just about being happy all the time. It's about understanding that whatever I'm going through in my life, Jesus is walking right there beside me. The Veneration of the Cross is a prayer time in which I am able to reflect on all that is weighing me down, all the burdens of my life, and literally lay them on the cross. I like it when the cross is laying down on its side and I can kneel next to it, and I put my forehead on it, and I spend a few minutes in prayer. I draw up all of my anxieties, all of those things which are burdening me, and I share them with Jesus. And there's something about physically touching the cross. It's not about that wooden hunk, right? It's not about this piece of wood in front of you. It's about touching it and knowing that in that moment I am close to Jesus and I'm never, ever alone. Christ bears all things with me. And I surely am going to do that today. In your little home devotional books, it encourages you to find some kind of cross, and most of us have some sort of cross. If you don't, you could draw one on a piece of paper. I have here this lovely wooden cross that's from Ethiopia, and I will pray with it. I will take some time, and I will bend down, pray with my forehead on the cross, and know that as I am touching the cross, it's a reminder that Jesus is with me, always. I hope, again, that you will find a way to observe Good Friday in your own way. And once again, we find ourselves at different places in this pandemic and in this crisis that we're facing. But know this, you are never alone in your fears, your anxieties, your burdens. Just as Jesus understood pain in his own earthly life, he walks with you in your pain. And as we share our burdens, our anxieties, our pains, our grief with Jesus on this Good Friday, we know that tomorrow comes. And that when the sun sets tomorrow on Saturday, he is risen. Blessings upon all of you.